there is more people than you have any idea that know about this church. Amen. Than you have any idea. Amen. I found out today. Had having some stuff done to the bus. You know. And so go to the what you call the rough part of town. The bus right down there. So stand up there. Hey, ain't you that preacher down there? That church? You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. What you think you getting by with, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised of who know what. Hey, Rev, how you doing there, sir? Yeah, you. Yeah, you the one. You'd be surprised. But anyway, we thank God for you guys, and some of them, you know, they come up to you and they talking and stuff, and you know where you from and blah blah blah, and you go into this whole history, where you from and stuff. You know, some of them, you know, they want to talk the holy game to you. You know, they say, you know, okay, I mean, you know, I ain't here to judge you, man. I'm just here getting some stuff done. I ain't here to judge you, man. Yeah, Rab, man. Yeah, ain't you one of them from that church down there? Yeah. I thought so. I was down there. You was down there. I ain't never seen you before. Rab, you ain't never seen. No. I came in there and bought dinner from y'all. I don't remember, man. So we thank God for that. Amen. Thank God. I said, listen, man, the bus gonna be safe right here? Yeah, Reb, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Listen, I ain't worried about it. I'm just asking you a question. Is the bus gonna be safe right here? What I'm really telling you in Ebonic and Hebrew and Arab, do you have insurance to cover? Okay. You understand what I'm saying now? Oh yeah, Rab, don't worry about nothing. Look, I ain't worried about it. When I go home, I'm going to sleep. Is the bus going to be all right? Oh, Rab, don't worry about nothing, Rab. Listen, you got the church down there. Didn't know. Okay. Okay. Who bus is that? That sitting on the thing. I'm sitting on the across the street. On the little thing over there, and I'm sitting over here across the street from it. You know, when God looked at me, he said, that must be First Cavalry bus. I said, ain't got First Cavalry name on it. I know, I ain't see the name. It ain't First Cavalry. Who bus is that? I said, the church right down there. Oh, yeah, that church right down there. I said, yeah, that's that church. Oh, y'all growing. Come visit us sometime. Man, y'all growing. You'll be surprised who know what. But anyway, nevertheless, we thank God for you guys. Listen, go to Luke 9. Luke 9, verse 10. I hope I'm right. Starting at verse 10. Listen, remember we talked about the kingdom, and then we talked about double portion. And there's always a double portion. What has happened with us is a lot of time with us, we have missed some of the things that God has called us to. And we have missed some of the things that God has even given us. Matter of fact. So we've trampled over certain things that God gave us because we just didn't, you know, we just didn't understand certain things. So therefore, you know, it didn't mean much to us. All right. Go ahead, Sister Sean.
Luke chapter 9, verse 10, the New International Version. When the apostles returned, they reported to Jesus what they had done.
Go ahead.
Then he took them with him, and they withdrew by themselves to a town called Bethsaida. But the crowds learned about it and followed him.
Now, this right here, King James said, privately into a desert place. Okay? Privately into a desert place. Jesus, it's amazing how Jesus will lead you someplace where only he can provide for you. It's amazing. It's a big, you know, when you grab when God gives you a kingdom mindset, the scripture take on a whole new different meaning. And so here you look at this, Jesus, after the disciples talking to him, you know, the apostles talking to him, then he's walking. Come go with me. He's walking. Come go with me. And he's walking. And he's taking them to a desert. Man, it's hot and dry out here. Go ahead, Sister Shaw.
He welcomed them and spoke to them about the kingdom of God and healed those who needed healing.
Go ahead.
Late in the afternoon, the 12 came to him and said, "Send the crowd away so they can go to the surrounding villages and countryside and find food and lodging, because we are in a remote place here."
Go ahead.
He replied, "You give them something to
You
eat."
feed the people. Don't send the people no place. You feed the people. You brought these people out here, but nobody thought to say, well, Jesus, you brought the people out here. Now, I probably would have said, you brought these people out here. You know it's hot out here. You know this a remote place. There ain't no food out here. How you going to feed these people? I would have said that probably before we went. When I saw where we were going, how are we going to eat? Because these people get hungry. You heal them, but they're going to faint because it's hot. Go ahead, Sister Shawn.
They answered, "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
Yeah.
Unless we go and buy food for all this crowd."
Go ahead.
About 5,000 men were there.
About 5,000 men. The number is more than that now. It's about 5,000 men. If they had wives, 10,000 children, 15,000, let's just say, 12, 15,000 people, let's just say. That's a lot of people. Listen, but here is what Jesus is telling. Listen. He's doing this. John said he did it to test them, to see what the disciples would do. Where the norm is to rely on your resources. Go to John, St. John. I'm thinking 6th chapter, 1 through 15. The norm is I am dependent. My hours for dollars is not enough to pay for this. All right? Go ahead.
John chapter 6 verse 1 in the New International Version. Sometime after this, Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, that is the Sea of Tiberias. And a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the miraculous signs he had performed on the sick.
Go ahead.
Then Jesus went up on a mountainside and sat there with his disciples. The Jewish Passover feast was near. When Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?"
Go ahead.
He asked this only to test him.
Only to test them. I want to see what you're going to do in this situation. Go ahead.
For he had already had in mind what he was going to do.
But remember, he told them at one point in time, don't take nothing. For this journey, don't take nothing. Now, he's telling them, listen, we got to get food for these people. And they rely on what resources is available unto them and not him. They relied on their own understanding, their ability, because they're learning how to trust him in all things. See, you can be in the kingdom and still not living It's amazing how you came out of Egypt and you in the kingdom of God, but you still think like you in Egypt. It's amazing.
When we come in, the scripture Matthew 4:4. Men shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. It is His word that we should live by.
It's His word that we should live by. Now here's the thing. If you don't know His word, it's hard to live by something you don't know. It's hard to live by the law if you don't know the law. If I tell you you living in my house, you come into my house, and here you are saying, well, you know, Pastor, I'm here, you invited me to come live with you, blah, blah, blah. But you don't know the laws and the rules I have in the house. So it's hard for you to live by something you don't know. And what's going to happen then, I'm going to constantly be telling you, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't do that. You're going to say, well, you never told me. But God is better than that. He lays it out before you get in to make sure that you know. Then He gives you an added bonus, His Spirit. He'll lead you into what you don't know and what you don't understand. All right? Go ahead, Sister Sean.
Verse 7. Philip answered him, 8 months' wages would not buy enough bread for each one to have a bite.
8-month wages would not buy enough for each one of them to have a bite. Didn't say a stomach full. A bite. 8-month wages wouldn't be enough to satisfy these people. They're in the kingdom, but they're still thinking the way the world thinks. Listen, man, I don't care what you tell me. There's no way I can buy all these people food from McDonald's. Now that's then. This is now. You probably can do it. You probably can do it. Because I can tell you right now, 15,000 people, you look out over the crowd and you having a service and they estimated 15,000 people and they're sitting in there, they've been in that service all day and they're hungry. And somebody suggests, Pastor, you need to feed these people. What you gonna say? What you gonna say? You can't say Jesus paid it all. That ain't gonna work. Listen, you trust Him to have the service. Trust Him doing the service. Go ahead, Sister Sean. How much that is?
I did $15.
Time.
No, 15,000 times 15. Give them the $225.
All right, 15,000
Yeah, that's
people. Time.
$15.
$15 to feed one person?
No, 15,000 is the people.
Yeah.
And $15 per person.
To feed who? What are you feeding these people?
I don't know. I guess more than McDonald's.
Oh, wait a minute. Say it again. Brother Joe, let me tell you something. I don't even spend $15 between breakfast and lunch. And you talking about 15 Schubert, you go sit back there in the back of class. Because I would love for you to what do you call that thing? What do you call that thing? Per diem? But please. $15 a day? $5. You better be happy with that $5. Whatever bag. How much that cost?
If you do $5, $75,000.
Okay, that's a lot of money. $75. $15. Boy, I'll take my leg off and hit you. $15. I wonder where you get the 15 from. 15. So he planned on taking the people. He planned on going to Texas Roadhouse. TGI. Take him to where? Jesus did. That's exactly where they're going. To a buffet. Let's go ahead, Sister Sean.
Another one of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves.
Listen now. This is the Spirit of God. This is the Spirit of God. They don't have enough money to feed all these people. And the man, listen, the disciples made the statement and say, wait a minute. Listen, 8 months' wages is not enough for these people to get full, a bite. Okay? But here is the Spirit of God in this young man. Here is a young boy that has a child's meal. Maybe this could help. Go ahead.
Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish.
Go ahead.
But how far will they go among so many?
At least you're utilizing what you have. But how far will that go among so many people? It's not going to go very far because it's barely enough for the child. So you're going to have to sort out who is the one that really need it. That's the man's ability. That's man's thinking. That's his understanding. And the one who can make it, well, you have to wait until you go home. But I believe this. If God had compassion on the people and healed them, if he can heal their body, he can satisfy their hunger. They had a desire to be different, to be whole. But I'm missing something as far, listen, in other words, here's what God said. I'm satisfying your physical need because your body is not in the condition that it should be. If I can meet that need and fix the problem that is wrong with your body, why can't I solve the hunger that your body is after? Now, it's easy for us to say that now because we're not in that position. Go ahead, Sister Sean.
Jesus said, have the people sit down.
Orderly. Go ahead.
There was plenty of grass in that place, and the men sat down, about 5,000 of them.
Go ahead.
Jesus then took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated.
When he gave thanks, took it into the kingdom. Blessed according to the kingdom. Go ahead.
He distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted.
Remember the double portion. Go ahead.
He did the same with the fish.
Go ahead.
When they had all had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted.
Now listen, double portion. Now, you are filled. When the people had as much as they wanted, that's full. Okay? From that seed, they got filled. Okay? Giving it to Jesus, who is the Sabbath, who is the one who causes all things to be. All right? Once they gave it to him, he blessed it. Here it is. This is the kingdom. Because he is the kingdom. He blessed it, gave thanks, distributed it. Once he did that, the people were satisfied. From not enough to satisfy a bite to a filling. Then he turned around and said, you're overlooking the double portion. And that happened to us. Every time God do something in our life, we overlook the double portion. He blesses us with this. Oh, I'm happy. And God said, oh, you missed the double portion. What double portion? The people were trampling over the double portion because they couldn't see it with the natural eyes. And he told them, wait a minute, pick up the fragments. The fragments are the double portion. You overlooking the double portion and you trampling over it. If he didn't tell them, they would have left it. See, I just didn't feed you, but I gave you enough. I just didn't make a way, but I made more. See, you only look at one way that I made. You didn't look beyond. Oh, God blessed me with an automobile, and you stopped.
Boy, give everything he had.
The boy gave up everything he had.
Give it to the king.
Say again?
And he gave it to the king.
He gave it to the king.
And then in return, what the king gave him.
Yeah. Listen.
He had need help.
You need help. Oh, help.
He need help.
To carry. Yeah. Listen. A double portion. He told the disciples, pick up the fragments. Because you don't understand. You're walking over the double portion. I didn't give you just enough to eat. I gave you enough to carry home. But because of the way you view things, you only looking at what you got fill off of. You're not focusing on what I'm going to do later. Because remember, you're going to be in need again. The same thing it is with blessing financially. Okay, good. I bless you now, but I promise you next week you're going to be in need again. But you overlook the double portion. You couldn't see it with the natural eye. And that happened to most of us. We overlook the double portion. Trample right over. Ain't see it. Remember the Syrophoenician woman, the Canaanite woman, some Bible call her Syrophoenician woman. She's at the table. Jesus them sitting to eat. She's there. She's bothering Jesus concerning the healing of her daughter. The disciples said, send her away. She's after us. Jesus hears her out. When she said her daughter is at home sick, needing to be healed. Jesus said, is it right to give that which is holy to dogs? The lady said, even the dog desires the crumbs that falls from the master's table. Master's table. Even the dog desires the double portion. Because what they were picking up were fragments.
Dealing with Sower Ripper real quick, based off this. We talked about Abraham and Isaac. They saw and found reaping the same year. He reaped the same day.
That young boy there? Let me share something with you about reaping that people don't realize. It depends on what you're sowing for and why you're sowing. The motive behind it. Well, I'm sowing for an automobile. Why are you sowing for an automobile? Now remember, God knows all things. He knows your thought. Why are you sowing for it? So you can show it off or for kingdom purpose? He could have gave showing off. But the boy gave because there was a need. Let me ask you this question. Why do you sow time in the Bible? Because you want to show off the scriptures you know? Quote. Or because there's a need?
You remember the one back I told you about the truck I had? The first truck I ever got. And I had this pastor went by his house and started talking. He said, "Oh, I like that truck right there." So yeah. And I hear the Lord say, "Give me the truck." I ain't had truck for a week. In my truck, you know, we still there's a circle. I got to come by his house.
The Lord saying, give him the truck.
Yeah, man.
I just got the truck
It got so bad that it was run the other way.
to get away from.
To get away from that, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then when, I think about a couple weeks went by, and I look in the man's yard, and he had a truck.
Just like
the one the Lord told me to get. And you told me, said, you know what God can do for you, and you will release that thing.
yeah. See, let me share something with you. We miss so many things. It's a small need. A small need now. Listen. Boy, I can't say that. I can't say that. Listen. A small thing. See, to us, one of the greatest stronghold in our life is what we possess. And don't let, now, it's easy for me to give you something I don't want. I'll help you. If you don't want your time, then you'll give it to God. What are you talking about, Pastor? I ain't got nothing to do, I'm bored. Okay, God, I read. You give it to him. But for the Lord to break into what you're doing and want to share some things, your time valuable. You ain't got time for it. I think if you stop and look at anything, his time is more valuable than our little time. But that's the way we see it. And I use that instead of something, somebody might get offended. And we don't have the thing running, recording, so I don't want nobody to get offended. But it is hard to give up something that you value when it comes down to God. But I'm in the kingdom. Okay? The woman who gave the mite. Jesus looking at the offering. God looks at the offering now in here. Jesus looking at the offering. And then he looks at his disciples and say, who gave the most? The known, thinking. Those rich people. There's one there that's well-to-do. Because remember, back then, there was no middle class. It was either poor or rich. So who gave the most? The one that's doing well, the one that's doing good. They're the one that gave. Jesus said, oh, no. Mm-mm. She did. She did. She didn't give from her abundance. She gave all she had. He allows certain things to be placed in the Bible for you and I today. That woman gave all she had and didn't have to do it, but it was the Spirit of God upon her to do it. Gave all she had. What guarantee do you have you're going to get anything back? Especially in her situation. But she didn't see it like that. She see it like this. He asked for it. And I gave it. That's how she saw it. He asked for it. And I gave it. Listen, we growing. But we missing the double portion. But we growing. We getting there. Okay, God, I got a car now. And God is saying, listen, that's not the last car. But God, that's not the last car. You're getting ready to get something else now. But God, I just can't see it. And we fall in love with it. And we don't want to depart. Even when the thing giving us problem, we don't want to depart. And you know what the Lord said? Now remember, you gave when I told you to do it. but what you were doing giving for what was in your future. Now that you are getting to that place in your future, you refuse to give up to get more. Let me tell you what the Lord shared with me. He said, I spoke a word in your life that was 30 years in your future. I spoke it to you to show you who he is. I spoke it to you 30 years ago. And it was 30 years in your future. And you wondering when you got sick whether you were going to make it or not. You forgot about the word I spoke to you before the sickness occurred. If I spoke to you then, and that word is to come to pass in your life 30 years later, do you think I would allow you to die before you reach that point? Because I had to bring to pass what I spoke in your life. Tell me what God told you that was 10 years in your future. But he told it to you 10 years ago. And you running around, oh God, and shout when you receive the word. And God said, you just don't understand. That word is 10 years in the future. Wait a minute. The word didn't came to pass this year. The word didn't came to pass next year. The word didn't came to pass the year after that. And now you losing, well, maybe God ain't going to bring this. No. When he spoke the word, it was 10 years in the future. Sister Sean, let me tell you what he was telling. Let me tell you what he was telling me now. It was 10 years in the future. You had to grow. To understand what I was going to do. Let me share something with you. How many years, this is what it stemmed from. Remember the life of Joseph, who his brother sold him into slavery? Remember the dream he had? Now I know 17 years went by, but it was more than that. How many years? Anybody got an idea? I know it was 17 years for sure, but it was more than that. I can't exactly pinpoint exact the years, but let's just say it was 20, 30 years. When Joseph came into it, he said this, the Lord sent me ahead of you for this day. So what the Lord showed him, we just using 30 years. What the Lord showed him was 30 years in the future. He thought it was then. His brothers thought it was then. So the enemy used them to sell him into slavery, thinking that they could stop what was revealed to them. But it was all according to God's plan.
So based off that, the enemy working through them, even when sometimes the enemy come my life and our life, think he trying to stop what God doing. All he doing is really helping the destiny come.
Yeah, that's it. Listen, don't get shaken up because you lost a house or a car. If God say you're blessed coming in and blessed going out, don't get shaken up because you lose things. Your losing of the things should cause you to turn to him even the more. The Bible said the blessing of the Lord maketh one rich and addeth no sorrow. Now listen. Go ahead. But you go ahead now. no. Go ahead.
Last night, what you said about when God give a word and it might take 10 years, 30 years,
Yeah.
whatever. What he shared was protect the word. And the scripture he gave me was Jesus. Jesus' parents, Mary and Joseph, had to protect him when he was first.
Wow.
And to watch over him. Now at 12,
Yeah.
you remember he was in the temple.
Yeah.
They looking for the word.
Yeah.
And they had to get him back, like, come on. He was like, I'm about my father's business, but he had to be obedient because it wasn't his time. But they had to protect the word. We have to protect that prophecy is what God was saying to me, because for such a time, it will come to pass that when Jesus' time came, couldn't nothing stop him.
Now listen to this now. Listen to this. I got you. But now listen. It is also proof that you can be a little negligent. Because it happened. But they went back and found. It's just like you and I. I could go back to my books, notes. Wait a minute. God said on this day, I went back and I found. Because let me tell you something now. Life and people and the fast pace will cause you to get caught up in the hustle and the bustle, and you will lose. Now it could be years later. You've gone. I'm doing things. It could be years later that you remember. Wait a minute. I left. See, their thing was a 3-day journey. 3 days is enough, boy. 3-4 days is enough to walk away and you lost. Wait a minute. God give me a promise. Where's the promise? Where the word? Could you imagine, Brother Joe, going that many days without the word? Your child?
Father, I think about 4 days ago, I heard the word focus about 20 times.
Okay.
What's going on? I picked up a guy, a drunk, and carried him, drop him off. He said, man, you know you better stay focused.
That's drunk.
I said, where's the dude? What's going on there? You got to stay focused.
Drunk.
This guy here, well, I can say other things, but
Yeah.
I know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I look at him and I said, yeah, that's the word.
Stay focused.
Stay focused. I think that might have been Saturday.
Stay
Every time I
focused.
turn on the radio, stay focused. Stay focused. Stay focused.
Listen, I'm telling you. Jesus told the disciples, I'm going to the Father. Okay? But I will return. Now, you know the action. When will, he said, that's for my Father, to know. Not for me to know. But look at, just these are the signs that you'll know when I'm coming. When you think about that, and us today, we have the same word that he gave to them. And if you lose focus, you will get caught up in what others got caught up. He already came. He ain't coming. He forgot. He's not telling the truth. All kind of stuff. But listen, if he said he's going to do it, bank on it.
Amen.
He going to do it. If he said, listen, the Bible said, and when Jesus' time had fully come. Now, let me share something with you. From birth to 30 years, it took Mary 30 years to receive. It took her 30 years to see what God had told her. That's true. She saw the child, but there wasn't so much the child could do because his time hadn't fully come. So in other words, yeah, you will have a child, and this child would do this, and this child would do that. Okay, you got part of it. Just like today, you got part of it, but you ain't got all of it yet. And it's going to take 30 years for you to get the remainder of it. But Mary, you can't stop being his mother. Mary, you can't stop being the protector. She said it back. You got to protect the word. You can't stop being the protector of it. He's trying to get to you and I the double portion. Jesus said, after that the Holy Ghost has come, he shall do some stuff. Wait a minute. Jesus, Holy Ghost, Father, God in the flesh. Then after Jesus leaves the scene, the Holy Spirit takes over. Double. I'm going to do some things in you. And I'm going to show you some things. And I'm going to teach you some things. I'm going to lead you in all truth. And where the scripture said, the blessing of the Lord maketh one rich and has no sorrow, I'm going to bring it to pass in your life. I'm going to tell you, close your mouth when you want to speak too soon. I'm going to tell you to hold your peace because I'm about the double portion. I'm going to show you what you've been overlooking. I'm going to, listen, I will give you a word that will reach your child. Young man told me today, he said, King, let me tell you something. He said, my daughter's 16 years old, out of control. He said, King, I'm telling you, Red, she's out of control. 16 years old. He said, let me tell you something. He said, that girl left home the first time, and gone, she left home Saturday evening and then came back Monday. I said, well, what do you, he said, that's a runaway. He said, I didn't know the law when it came down to runaway. I wouldn't come back. He figured he going to escape this. But the blessing of the Lord will make one rich and add no sorrow. Listen now, the blessing of the Lord. I did not say things won't happen in the 30 years. But if you are led by a spirit of peace, when things does happen, you will say, this too, this thing has been allowed by God to prepare me for what he spoke in my future. This is going to cause me to pray more. Because 30 years later, I'll be able to walk in Christ the way he designed me. All right? He's taking you someplace. You look at it and say, well, God, why you allow me, God? Why you allow me? Because I'm teaching you some things. The Holy Spirit ain't never tell you, listen. Now the one that he don't talk to, do you ever wonder why he gave you one mouth and two ears? Anybody ever wonder that? Listen more and talk less. Shut up. Because when you're talking, it's hard to hear. You ever wonder something ever? Two eyes. No, some people listen now. And so he began to teach you things. Okay, now we go. He began to teach you things. Watch that. Watch. And you looking, I ain't seeing nothing. And all of a sudden the person do something and you say, oh my God, if he didn't tell me, I wouldn't have saw that. Start teaching. Come on, buddy, you all right? Huh? What did he say?
I think his mama make him stand up.
Oh, you made him stand up? Oh, he going to stand up. Oh, you want to stand up? You scared of what I'm getting ready to say? Oh, you say he going to stand up? Oh. But listen, the young man said, my 16-year-old daughter is off the chain. You hear me? Off the chain. I can't do nothing with her. See, the girl ran away Saturday and didn't come back till Monday. She came back, she smelled like liquor. She smelled like marijuana. He said, listen now. He said, I did not know the law. I thought that the person had to be missing for 24 hours. He said, no, not when it's a minor. 30 minutes, you missing. You can call the cops, and they'll come. I said, I never really thought about it. It used to be 24 hours. For an adult, it's 24 hours. The law has changed. 30 minutes, that child is missing.
You know, that's what Linda did that night. Her son was missing.
Yeah, and they respond just like that.
Just like that.
They respond just like that. He said, lie. He said, you got to keep your eyes on her. If you don't, she'll go. She's gone. So, okay, well, can't do nothing with you. All right. Said when the police came over, they called the police. When she came back, police came over. She hollering about. He said, listen, I'm going to send you to, what is it, DJ, whatever the thing called. I'm going to send you there. Send me there. I don't care. Send me there. When the police came, the story changed. He said, listen, I don't care if the story changed or not. You going. So she decided to resist arrest. He said, preacher, let me tell you something. They buried her face in the floor in my house. And I stood there and looked because she resisted arrest. So I look at the little girl. Yeah, you acting crazy. So listen, you keep listening. Don't do so much. Yeah, man. Boy, let me tell you something, boy. My boy done that. Just listen. You will learn if you listen. You hear what the Spirit. We start talking, we quick to talk. Boy, let me tell you what, my boy. Let the man tell a story. You hear what the Lord is telling you. Learn to listen. So he's telling the story and stuff there. And he said, Rev, let me tell you something. He said, where it began at, he said, my wife took her. This is part of where it began at. My wife took her and got her hair done. And she came back with that blonde weave in her hair. And he said the girl flipped. Now, I ain't know nothing. This was the day. Yesterday, I'm listening to a sermon with not a sermon, but a deliverance with Alpha Luca. He calls up a girl out of the audience that had gold hair. And he's talking to and the girl is happy about the hair and stuff like that. And he said, listen, let me share something with you. You paraphrase, go and just narrowing the story. He said, let me share something with you. He said, you think it's all about your hair. It ain't. He said, the hairstyle that you have represent a demon from the marine kingdom. That's why you keep it colored. He said, before this gold, you had red, bright red. She said, yeah. And after you get rid of this gold, you go into pink. The lady said, yeah, you're right. He said, the proof to you is a demon. You can't stay in a relationship no more than 3 weeks. And got 4 kids. And if you try to go black with your hair basically black, you will get migraine headaches. The demons want you to represent the color of their hair. Boy, you already know I used to box in. Listen. Y'all didn't know I know some stuff. John, listen. It's amazing what God will teach you. So you see all these people with all these colors. Tell me, who are you displaying? What demon? He said, there is a mermaid spirit in you from the marine kingdom. You have dreams about you in the water, swimming. She said, yeah. He said, as a matter of fact, you just had one last night. She said, yeah, I sure did. You need to be delivered. But now, here was the part that just like caused you to jump out of the boat and just walk on water. Your granddaddy, your daddy, was a root doctor, a spiritualist. Before he died, he had to pass the gift on to the last born of his last born. So her dad was his last born, but she is her dad's last born. So the demon was passed to her. So I'm listening to the guy, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. So when I was telling Gloria about it, I let her look at the thing. I said, now I just saw this yesterday on there. And here this guy telling me today. So I'm listening. He said, man, the girl just flipped out, man. Then when I came back over, talking to him again, he said, Rev, let me tell you something. I saw the little girl, I said, boy, she mad as a hornet, boy. Look at that girl is mad as she can be. He said the police told him, let me tell you something. If I was you, I would beat that blankety blank. He used some words. He said, boy, I'd put something on that right there. That's what the police told him. She already told him, you touch me, I'll call the police. I'll call 911. She called 911. This was some time after that. Say she feel threatened. Hang up. Well, you know 911. You call them. They're gonna call you. They call, say somebody call here and say they feel threatened and blah, blah, blah. So we got 2 officers on the way. So he asked her, why did you call 911? I didn't call 911. You called 911. He said, I didn't call no 911. They got your voice on recording. You called 911. And who threatening you? Because she wanted to go out and they wouldn't let her. Hey, baby, I ain't saying this for nothing. Something gonna happen. I told y'all the devil was after these children. You ain't got to raise them right. You wish you had them. You pray to God, please, Lord, God gonna get you on your knees, one way or the other. So what happened now? The 911 officer comes out. 2 officers comes out, and they begin that question and stuff like that. Well, why y'all come when he be calling y'all don't come? When I call y'all come out here, now I'm in trouble. Why you didn't come when he called 911? He said, I don't call 911 when I call the police concerning you. I call 591 or something like that, 5 something. There's a number that you can call that's not 911. So he was calling something 5 something. Something like that is a number. So he said, I'll call him. She called 911. Now she want to act a fool. He said they sent her to the whatever, the DJ, whatever you want to call it. DJJ. They sent her there 45 days. Took her 52 days. Come out, she's still the same. I'm standing right over there talking and stuff like that. Talking, look at the little girl. They're walking around there, boy, just carrying on. She's mad, boy, she's mad. She's been to one counseling meeting, got to go to another. She's mad, and then he said, Rev, let me tell you something. He said, and I tell you another thing, I believe part of it too. He said, my wife told her that she was going to leave for 30 days. And when she come back, she wanted me gone. She was going to divorce me She gonna put me out the house. He said, Reb, I believe that got something to do with it too. And I started thinking about the girl and looking at the girl. She mad with him. Now she opened the doors for demons. She mad with him. She ain't got no respect for him. She yelled, all kind of stuff. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be around here. I want to be doing, I want to be working. This ain't serving me no purpose. Blah. I mean, just upset, just mad as she can be. So another young girl came over right after school and had two little girls with her, one but her age. And so when the lady got the car, she said, oh, whatever the little girl name, I don't know her name. Oh, and she goes over there and they embrace stuff like that and they stand up talking. And then the young lady saw me and she said, King, come here, let me talk to you. So I walk over, we start talking, and the three girls right there, and the girl talking just as nice, laughing and joking. We standing there talking, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. Okay, as soon as they left, the girl snapped right back. It was so bad that one of the boys said, one of the young men said, or I guess a brother, I don't know. One of them said, well, I guess whatever the one of them God or somebody he called told you that. She said, I don't worship no whatever that thing. I worship the Lord Jesus Christ, my Savior. I wanted to go over there and tell him, man, he my Savior too, but he don't act like that. But I didn't say nothing. I know why she looked now. So I know when I see her again, I'm pull her to the side and talk with her. And I'm going to share with her, baby. You ain't hurt nobody but yourself. If you angry with the daddy, talk to the daddy. If you angry with the mama, talk to them. Tell them what they did to you. Give up your sister. But by you acting like this, you hurting you. You hurting you. Baby, you ain't hurting them. You hurting you. These people going on with life. You hurting you. They're going to cause you things in life. Don't do yourself like that. Don't degrade yourself. Flip just like that. It's amazing what you see when you shut your mouth and wait on God's timing. See, a lot of times we too quick to fix a problem, when the little girl is not really the problem. The daddy hurt the child. The mom hurt the child. All right. Our Father.
I read this man's granddaughter yesterday, and he was telling me what happened to him this past Saturday. Well, his mom made a choice to send him down here. They're from New York to visit the grandfather, and she raised the other kids. But the kids were resentful toward him all his life. Well, they had a party, celebrating. One of his sisters, 42 years old, had a full ride in Florida State basketball, messed that up because of her anger and resentment because of what they did. She's 42 years old now. With this Saturday, keeping it short, she started an argument at the party drinking, started his truck on fire, and was doing damage to his house. They had to call the police, and they arrested him. She had been getting away with it for a long time, but he said, she destroyed my truck. I had to do this. And he's feeling bad, and people are saying you shouldn't let her stay there. He said, I gotta let her stay there because she destroyed my truck. And so all that anger built up all them years to finally the demon caused her to damage that man's property. And he's like, I don't know what to do. I mean, it wasn't my fault that they chose to send me down here to the South to be raised with my granddaddy.
Yeah.
But she dealt with that. She's dealing with that all these years.
You see? You see how it go? See how it go? That's bad, man. You'll be surprised. And he told me, he said, Rev, let me tell you something now. He said, when we went to that meeting, he said, you'll be surprised of the kids from 9, 10, 11, on up to 16, 17, running away. All color. I said, you serious? I said, not the Hispanic, them too. I said, but where they trying to get back to Mexico? I thought they were trying to get from Mexico. He said, they're running away. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, there's a spirit. There's a spirit. There's a spirit. Because see, the thing about it is, if God's hand isn't on them, the enemy will kill them. And not by the drugs they take, but all it takes is for you to be kidnapped and sold into sex slavery. It's the grace of God for some of these. He said, hear this girl going for all this other time. Nobody know where she at. He said one night, 4 guys came up to his house. Young man in a car. It's whatever the girl, 10 o'clock is whatever the girl home. He said, yeah, she here. What y'all want? We come to see her. He said, oh, no, you ain't come to see her. He said, no, let me tell you something. If you don't get off my property, I already got the license plate number. I already got the make of the car. How many guys in the car? If y'all don't get off my property. He said, now she in the house changing clothes, getting ready to go. Ready for bed. When he went in and tell her, you're not going with them guys, because I just ran them and I told them if they stay here, I was calling the police. She went off. Listen, you ain't got to raise them the way God say raise them. You will see that the consequences of it later on in life. Because you don't realize a demon is housed inside of that child. And that thing is growing. The lie, I can't see the lie. No, you can't see the lie because the demon in you helped raising the demon in that child. That's why you can't see it. That's why you can't hear it. That child would never do nothing like that. He told me, he said, Rev, let me tell you something. He said, don't you never say what your child won't do. He said, because I would say years ago, no, she wouldn't do that. He said, now, everything I say, now I'm seeing it. Now let me tell y'all something. I had a good experience today. Got in the car with a fella. He said, Rev, come on, ride with me. Let's go to the school. What school are you talking about? We're going to the high school. I got something out there I need to get some work done on it. And let's ride up there. So we go out there. Pull up. We're at a vocational part school. Get out the car. Go in there and talk to the teacher. And I'm looking around. That one more student from Georgetown come and tell me, I ain't got no job. I ain't know what to do. You take one of these things right here and slap it upside the head. Let me tell you something. They got jobs, they got classes out there where these kids learn how to weld, learn how to carpenter, build their own house, mechanic, small engine, and they come out here and want to sell drugs. Like you owe them something, and the people teaching you the skill free. And the mothers who don't know no better, because I didn't know, and the parents who don't know no better, oh, My child, they're just doing my child wrong. Your child is not going to college to play no football. Just get that in your head. He ain't got the size for it. Tell the boy, get a trade. You ain't listen. One young lady told me today. I mean, it was very interesting day. One young lady told me today. She said, "Listen now." She said, "King, let me tell you something." She said, "That daughter right there, of mine, that one, that's college material. That one right there, we have to buy her way in there." I said, "That bad?" She said, "That bad." I said, "Well, let me tell you something." I said, "When I was in school, I was on the D road. You know, D road." She said, "Well, King, let me ask you something." She said, them people are just giving you grades just to pass you through." I said, "And it was working." I said, "It was working. I was just trying to get through." I said, now I look back and say, "Oh my goodness, man, I blew a golden opportunity." A golden opportunity. Here's why. Ain't no money in that. And people working the thing business today. Listen, the man told me out of his own mouth the work he do and the contract that he, listen, $80,000 one job and it ain't taking him a month to do it. $80,000 one job and it's not taking him a month to do it. Well, we're gonna go in a dollar and get me a job. They hire. How much? $7 an hour. Give me a job. And the people teaching you a skill, a trade, free. If this don't work, you got something you can fall back on. You want a business? Listen, how many people got cars need to work on? At some point in time.
Yes.
Listen, if you go to a dealer and get your car, $125 an hour.
Yes.
Some of them will give you $80 an hour, $85, $90 an hour. Some of them will cut you a deal. Women, where the children sleep? You start doing this here and show a little bit, they'll cut you a deal. The devil is a liar. You got that golden opportunity, and then you complaining.
When they've been in jail, they offer them guys everything.
All right. The women wouldn't do it,
Oh no, the woman.
but the men
The man did it. But I told him.
took the trade.
Yeah, I told him now y'all in
trail
here,
on the side.
and y'all want to go out, but those guys, once they come in and get a trade, they're not going back out and pick y'all back up.
No.
Cause they done got a trade, they bad in themselves, so y'all need to. No, they ain't want it. They waiting on.